Welcome to everyone. Today our guest is PFL fighter Brittney Elkin. Brittney, thank you so much for joining. Very pleased to have a PFL fighter again after Muhammad Iris. What can you say in general about your fighting career with PFL? How did you come to inking PFL contract? And considering PFL has 155 division, UFC doesn't have it, how are you feeling about that? And what do you generally think about that aspect of the game?
PFL has been an awesome experience. They do offer a weight class that I feel natural in, so it's awesome to have that because your dream is always to compete at the highest level, and they offer that weight class at the highest level. I do believe they have some of the best athletes in that weight class, and they've obviously proven that and grown it in a short time. I think they've really showcased some amazing women in it. I feel extremely fortunate that I've got to be a part of it. And I would love to continue fighting for them. I don't have like a promise or anything yet for another fight, but I hope to be with them longer,
This fans question. How is the feel to be one of the tallest fighters in the division?
Am I? I didn't even know that. Tallest?
That's
Who's
fans
taller?
question.
That's only an advantage to me, so that's good news. I didn't even know that information, so thanks for telling me. I am very tall. I'm a large lady.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but I've got a friend who is a diehard PFL addict. He literally knows everything about every single fighter, so that's
Awesome.
a great experience. How did you get into the world of MMA? And do you have the basic martial art? Which was the martial art you trained in the first place?
I started in Gillette, Wyoming. I was a bartender in a beer garden at some fights, and it was like I was just a worker. I was not even a complete fan yet, and they hired Spencer Fisher to be like a guest star at the fights, and him and the promoter were like, "Hey, you look like a fighter." When they were ordering beers, you should come down and train with us. And I went and trained with them. And then 3 months later, I took my first amateur bout. So I had a really like wild, wild west story of starting MMA, but I've been in it 12 years and I love what I do. And thank God they did that. Thank God they opened the door for me. I'm happy now, so I've had most of my fights were in Wyoming and South Dakota in my amateur career where there was no sanctions. So there was like no rules, and it's like the wild, wild west of MMA still kind of is. It's like my favorite place to go watch some good stuff, but they also saw the bare knuckle boxing and all that stuff, the bare knuckle MMA in Wyoming. And, that's where I got my start, and then I moved to Denver, and I was on a bunch of the major teams there. I got to train with some of the best athletes in the sport. I was with Elevation Fight Team last, and they were incredible. And I moved to Philadelphia. I had retired before they offered me Clarissa because I've broken this arm several times. And Bailey, who was in the last Bobby Joe. I don't know why that didn't come to me right away. Bobby Joe Dazzle broke my arm in the fight after Kayla, and I broke it in 3 places. She broke my ulna, so I was like, whatever, I'm retired. And then I'd been out for about 2 years, and I just moved to Philadelphia, and Ray Seffo called me and offered me the Clarissa fight. So I just couldn't find any way to say no to something of that opportunity. And ever since, I've kind of took the bait and been running with it and hope to take another fight soon. So.
Do you have the nickname, or you're still Brittney?
That came through really unclear. What did you say?
Do you have the nickname?
The nickname? Yeah, I was Big Bird all through my fight career, but I got that nickname at Grudge Training Center from a guy named Garrett Culpepper. I did a move on him that I didn't know what I was doing, and I really, really, really hit him in the nuts really hard. And he called me a Big Bird in front of, I can't even remember, that room was filled. I mean, Gaethje was going there long ago. They had Brandon Gertz. They just had a whole room of up-and-comers, and then it was Grudge Training Center 10, 12 years ago, and so everybody just started calling me Big Bird, and that was my whole nickname through my whole fight career. Still is. I embrace it, but my jiu-jitsu nickname, all my friends call me Queen Bee, and I like that better, but you don't get to pick your nickname, so.
So you don't like your first nickname, do you?
The mic's coming through like a robot echo on my end.
So you don't like your first nickname, right?
I mean, what's not to like? It's super fun and funny. I mean, you always want to sound like this aggressive fighter, I guess, or maybe I just do. But no, I didn't love it when I was in MMA. But I'm like, whatever, I'm Big Bird, and everybody knows me as it. Like, I get calls all over the country. They're like, "What's up, Bird?" And so I guess I don't hate it. You know, it's just kind of a funny MMA name.
At the moment, who are your coaches and sparring partners, considering you were changing dojos?
It's the mic that you're coming through is sounding like an echoed robot. So I think you said out of my coaches, who are my
Yes.
coaches?
Coaches and sparring partners.
Oh, sparring partners. All right,
Just a
cool.
sec.
Well, right now I moved to Philly not too long ago, and I sorry.
Is
I
it
moved.
better now? Is it better now?
It's just like an echo. I can make it through. It's just like an echo through it. So I mean, as long as you're getting good feedback, I can do it. But my head coach is Zach McCoskey. I've really been into his insight and the way he's breaking down like my abilities towards what our goals are. And I think he's really brought out some things that have always been there, but I just never capitalized on. And he's really, I think, doing really well for me. I'm still like in grand search of a amazing striking coach to work with me. I haven't picked one, but I'm working with a couple out of 10 Planet Finishers MMA, and I'm looking for somebody to really like. I don't want to be the next striking champion. I want to really be fluid with striking and do it in what I think I do well, which is groundwork and jiu-jitsu. So I'm looking for that home. And then I've always been really close with one of my major coaches in jiu-jitsu, and his name's Brittney Elkin, but he's out of Denver. So I'm still looking for a couple of those cornermen to fill the holes in my direct area. I'm new to Philadelphia. I found a lot of them at 10 Planet Finishers MMA, and I'm just, trying to fill those requirements so I am my best for the next bout. I want to take another fight, so.
Can you please describe the meaning of your tattoos?
Oh man, I have a full body back piece. And that is, everybody thinks it's a big Alice in Wonderland back piece. But what that one was, I was 18 when I started it, and it's huge. It covers my entire back. I'm not going to show it on there because I basically have to get naked, but I have been in several tattoo magazines, and you can find it on all my social media accounts. But it's a large tree with the Alice in Wonderland, and there's an anime artist that does some incredible work. But it's a girl with blood splatter smearing her face, and it shoots off the birds and the mural of Alice in Wonderland is behind it. And when I was a young girl, I had a friend that told me a really, really detailed story that I didn't believe. And I told her she shouldn't lie. I was like 12 years old. And I was like, you don't lie. Don't make up stories like that. That can put people in bad things. And I kept on telling her that. And I ended up getting closer and closer to the situation. And the story is just too heartbreaking to break down in 10 minutes, but it was all true. And I found it out later, and it all was exposed. And she was one of my very closest friends. We went through several character making situations, And I looked at her very vulnerably, and I said, how did you get through that? And she said she closed her eyes and pictured Alice in Wonderland. So I put that on my back. I mean, it's kind of just always been like, if you can go to your happy place, you can go anywhere at any moment. So taught me a huge lesson, and that's why I did like a 60-hour back tattoo on it. So all my other ones are little details on personality details and time stuff.
How would you describe your fighting style?
I kind of like to get right in there. I like to try to ask questions with some things. I try to find out what they're going to go for and capitalize on it. I pay a lot of attention to their properties and I'd say I'm like a little bit of a bully to get in the positions I like to get into, and then I like to be on the ground. I mean, I'm in jiu-jitsu mostly, like wrestling and jiu-jitsu. That's where I spend most of the time in my training because I'm most comfortable there. And I've done the most competing there. So I just like to bring them to my world and try to drown them.
How are you spending night before the fight?
Oh man, I have a hard time sleeping before the fight. So I usually grab some kind of crafting. I like to do a lot of crafts. I draw comics. I do all kinds of things, and my mind like never stops, you know. So I try to just log that information. I have so many journals, so I spend a lot of time drawing and like talking to myself, just trying to pass time because you're just ready at that point. You know, you're just ready to get under the lights, ready to go through it. There's no more talking about it. It's just time to expose what we either did or did not train on. And, you know, you can only say so much and you're just done. You're like, I want to fucking just go. So my moments are trying to stay calm instead of like waiting endlessly to those moments, filling it with fun things like crafts and laughing with a couple friends and daydreaming about food.
How's your weight cut process looking like?
Yeah, I've been awesome lately. When I was my old career, I'd sit a lot heavier. I'd sit in like 185 outside of a fight and then cut down to 145 or sit at 185 and cut to 155. I've not really gone above 173 since a while. You know, I don't work out the same as I used to. I do less with more, and I stay about 174. I was 174 a couple days ago. I'm cool with that. As soon as I lean out, I only had to cut 1 pound and 4 ounces last time. I'd like to actually be a little heavier in the cage, so I probably will cut around 5 pounds for my next fight, just so like that fight day I'm a little heavier, you know, in my experience and stuff. So I'm happy with my weight in comparison to my past. I'm not having the struggles I had younger years. I don't know really why.
Do you still remember your first professional MMA fight?
Absolutely. I fucking, yes, it was Summer Bradshaw. It was at the Grizzly Rose in Denver. And I sold out the fucking place because I was a bartender, you know? So I was like, hey, you coming to my fight? Are you coming to my fight? Are you coming to my fight? And I just sold everybody tickets. I was like, I'm a pro now. They're paying me. I think I made 1,000 and 1,000. And the place was lit, man. I have old pictures of the crowd. And I beat her in the first 2 rounds. And I was in that moment in the third round where I know her coach had told her, like, if you don't fucking win this round, you've lost, you know? Because in the third round, she came at me guns ho. And I swear I think I lost one of my teeth with her. She fucking kneed me in the face so hard. Oh, so bad. And yeah, I almost lost my first pro fight, but I did win. And I remember my son was a lot younger than me. I have a 15-year-old son, but he was like, whatever he was at that time, he was like 6 or 7. And he looked up at me and he goes, Mom, we're famous. And it was just like such a moment. But yeah, my first pro fight was an incredible experience. And it was the main event. It's really worked up, you know, very cool. Very cool.
This is also fans' question. How's MMA fighter feeling, female MMA fighter, when he loses tooth?
How's a female MMA fighter? What was that?
Feeling when you get a hit to the teeth, when you lose one of your teeth. How are you feeling? Is it hard for fighters?
I have 4 missing teeth, and I think I'll fix them when I'm done breaking them. I really don't. I mean, they're already all fucked up. I do wish I had a perfect grill. I wish I had nice mouth. I have a good fronts. All my rears have taken a lot of damage. And I plan to fix them. I wouldn't love having a front one missing, but I would just fix it with the denture until we're done fighting because I'm not going to put in an implant and get it knocked out. So until I'm done fighting.
Who was the toughest opponent you've ever met?
I would definitely say Kayla. She ran at me, dude. She ran at me. I've been thinking about it ever since. I was unprepared or ill-prepared. On my end, this is not my camp's fault. I underestimated Kayla. I do a lot more work in my camps now, personal work in there. I'm involved, not waiting for a coach to tell me what to do. And Kayla ran at me like full charge. So I definitely learned from her, but she was definitely my toughest one and the one that I look, if I get another opportunity, I would really, really, really need to take so many looks in every direction so I'm better prepared.
How many times did you participate in a grappling bout? I've seen you took part in many of them.
On Fight to Win Pro, I'm 19-9. In Subversive, I'm something like 6-2 or something. And then I have 3 Pan American golds from my span of blue belt to brown belt, and I've done mini Master Worlds. I have 2 Master World silvers, and then I used to work for a company that put on those bouts. I have so many grappling matches. I don't know how to tell you. I was in a tournament in my blue belt to purple belt years. I was in a tournament, if not bi-weekly, monthly for sure. I was in a tournament everywhere for years. So I definitely have been in many jiu-jitsu bouts.
What was your game plan for Clarissa fight?
So I was retired for 2 years about before Clarissa got fought, right? And we were like, we're fighting an Olympic boxer. I'm not going to become an Olympic boxer in 8 weeks, right? No fucking way. And if I throw hands at her, that's just going to set up her game. So we're not going to throw a single hand at her, right? Like, why throw hands at her? It sets up her counters. It sets up what she's comfortable with. We're going to make her uncomfortable. Again, I haven't been on my feet striking for 2 years. Like, I hadn't sparred since I broke my arm in 3 places. So I was like, fuck you, and I think we had like 4 or 5 hard spars and the rest were technical spars for Clarissa after 2 years off. It was quite, when you really, really put that together, it's pretty insane, So our goal was not to like cause major damage standing. We had to get her down. And elbows were not allowed in the fight. For PFL in general, they don't allow elbows. It's not just our fight, but our plan. What was that?
That is pretty bad because you're pretty good with elbows.
I would have loved to have thrown elbows. Who knows? There's always a what if, and if we could have, and if whatever, and if we get another chance, if they're there, who knows what will change? But they weren't there, and I knew they weren't, and so it was just to keep her out of her distance, waiting for her to come into mine for that shot. I saw the shots that were open to me. She threw a kick that opened a shot. I took it. I drug her to my corner so I could hear them best. It was one of the biggest moments in my life. I wanted her to stay down. And so we were also, don't take a submission for risk of falling off unless you're in the minute clacker or the 30-second clacker of the end. So then it was go for submission time. Open her, expose her, scare her, keep her down, drown her, smother her, tire her out. And then in those last moments, even if she got away, we won the round. And I was going against a 2-time Olympic athlete in my best career. I didn't risk a lot and I wanted to do a lot. So she did fog me for sure. I had a permanent lump for several weeks. She hit me with that overhand, and it was one of those hits that hit 3 seconds later. It was like 3 breaths later. If I get in my mentality, I haven't even got there yet to go visit it that hard, but I've tried. Anyway, my memory serves is I took 3 breaths, and then it was like the parallel of the knockout. And I held on to the ankle and the knee, man. I couldn't let go of that. And I don't know why. It felt like my vision was like spilled dog food and I couldn't clean up with the dustpan. I was just letting that hit. And I remember telling myself, I just need 1 minute. I just need 1 minute. I just need 1 minute. And I feel like I was coming to, but you always want, to think that you're some kind of superhero that was going to make it to the fucking end if a ref didn't stop it. And I feel like I'd beat her if I got another chance, but I mean, everybody wants to fucking say that, and I swear to God, I could make a T-shirt that I feel like I'd beat her if I got another chance. Because, yeah, damn it, sucks. I wanted to win that fight really bad, and I took a lot of terrible internet beating, but I think I made a lot of fans in that fight, and I had a wonderful time.
Well, that's one of the things I don't understand. For example, people, and especially journalists who criticize fighters, I am that other kind of journalist. I never criticize fighters even when I have great reasons to do that. It's simply not okay for me. So
So I wish Clarissa, I think, grew too as a person in that fight, you know, and if we both keep fighting, hopefully that will revisit, you know, and I don't see, I'm not stopping for a while, but I know that that's not going to line up immediately. That's something down the road. I hope to be better than I was that day, the next day. And I'm going to go hard these next couple of years. I'm 35. I missed a couple out, and where that goes, I hope somewhere cool. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I actually have to start heading to practice. Otherwise I'll be late.
can you please describe one day in your life?
Oh man, I am an operations manager for 2300 Arena. It's basically fight arena downtown Philadelphia. So today I was in the venue from 10 to 3, just fucking trying to line up my week. I have 2 shows this week, so I have a lot of networking to do. I'm an amateur matchmaker for a local Philadelphia MMA card. Matchmaking local fighters and bringing in fighters around the country to give them a good opponent in the Philadelphia rules. It's a sanction rules that is different than somewhere like where my Wyoming friends or Colorado friends are used to. So I'm kind of bringing those worlds together in this venture. So I have a lot of notebooks. I draw and journal comic books. So all day long as my experience go forward, I can't let the thought go without comic book, so I always have a back burner notebook back there with like reels and reels. I hope to write a table book one day and just throw them all together as like a life story. And then tonight I'm going to race to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania to hop on the mat for Finishers MMA, take advanced pro no-gi for an hour and a half, and then I'm going to learn ankle picks from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. basically with a small group and basics type class, and try to get better at ankle picks for ADCC trials in November. So that's my day today.
What was the best moment of your fighting career?
That I found out I still love MMA. I don't really have a fight that puts a signature on it, but in this last camp, when I was sold on MMA years ago, when I was at that bar and I was like, yeah, I am a fighter. And I was thinking I was so cool and tough. I had that same feeling in this last camp of how much MMA is to me and what it's grown me to the woman I am today. And so, yeah, I was like realizing that I still loved it was probably my best moment.
Do you have the favorite strike and the favorite submission?
Man, anyone that works, I set up a lot of things with leans and overhands and feints. I love kicking people in the head. Sometimes I hit you in the throat and I laugh. And, you know, I'm just happy if I get some. I'm like, look, yes, he's sleeping. So anything that works is my favorite. I'm going for it. And I'm not scared to spar. The big guys, the little guys, I'll go for it too.
What do you plan to do in the next 1 year? Do you plan to work on some specific aspect of your game?
I'm just looking for a striking coach to make me blend and be fluid and hide things that I'm do best or bring out my best. I'm looking for somebody that works well with me, and you know, we're all little special creatures in soap opera, and that blend is what matters. And you know, I just want to show up to the tournament with the best blend and be fluid and be proud, man. I just want to be proud of my efforts and the people who surround me. So that's where I'm at.
You said that you took part in some exchanges against internet beaters. So how are you dealing with these internet dudes that are very strong via keyboard?
Nobody really bugs me anymore, and if they do, I'll pin their comment and let the other world get them. I have a Twitter account. That's where I try to tell them, like, go to Twitter and talk to me, and then I just don't talk to them. I just, you know, I'll just block who bothers me, and I just have no time for it. My heart's been with a lot of my friends going through things, so I just try to, like, keep the right people in my areas around me and just keep listening to things that I know is right. And I know some people talking shit. And you know what? It stings when it's right. When they're right, it stings. It's not fun to fucking get beat up and not win something you really want. And or think in yourself thought that you could have done better in a moment of terrible time. So I just ask them if they want to hang out and meet for ice cream, and I'll meet them. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just don't let it fuck with me as much as I can. Of course it fucks with me sometimes. Of course it fucks with anybody. They read fucking terrible writing about themselves on the bathroom wall. Everybody hates that, you know. Even if they're like, oh, fuck you. But I just like try to just I don't try to care, you know, and try not to think about it. I have a lot of other things that I'm worried about.
Would you like to greet someone? Would you like to add something to the interview we missed to say? Would you like to give a shout out to somebody maybe?
You know, just really, really thankful to the people that have taken me in here on the East Coast. I have a lot of new families that have just been brought into their communities and gyms, and I'm really thankful for that opportunity. It's driving me forward and making me a better version of myself as I grow in my own career and find out things about myself. So thank you to the people interested in hearing my story, and I just can't wait to show you more. Keep watching. I'm gonna bulk up here soon and be super tough again. So just thanks for having me on. Thanks for caring.
Thank you so much for being the first PFL fighter on my show. Either I'm gonna
You're welcome.
publish it later today, either I'm gonna publish it tomorrow. Gonna send you a link.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Brittney. Have a great day.
Have a great day.